So once again, welcome. Thank you for hanging in there and thank you for listening. Please leave a message as to how the messages resonate with you and how you are applying them. It really does help other people, even just to read other people's experiences and how they're applying wisdom to the energies that they're coming into interaction with. So this is a reading, once again, like last week, for the week that is upcoming. Got 7 days. We'll see where we get to regarding the energies that are coming through, and see what's what for the week ahead. So we have for the Monday the 8 of Cups. So you can see here the red robe, the white staff, the 8 cups on top of one another. Things have built up, and it's sort of rocky ground all around, but actually with those red boots on, a solid walk. If you see the ground underneath is really quite flat, and able is with the guide, with the staff, with the support network of self first and foremost, but those around you that are resonating with the energies that you're going into. This is where you're being guided to emotionally detach from something that isn't. You don't divide from it with glee. You don't take yourself away emotionally or detach yourself emotionally with bliss. It is moral wisdom of knowing that the time is done. Your passions are not being met. Your own passions, your own needs, your own path needs to be in a different direction of where you've been applying or giving your emotions to. For however long, you'll all feel it in a different way. For however long you've been hanging in a space where you're in emotional debt all of the time, because no longer are you vibrating in the same frequencies, no longer are you resonating in the same way. And it's a walk that needs to be navigated with emotion, and weighing up where emotion is being spent, i.e. where you are either gaining wealth in your emotional field, or where you are, creating death, where you get into back in rocks that are creating more boundaries and more barriers around you, for you to walk your greatest path, for you to walk your most resonating path, your most drawn to path. So we've got the High Priestess to clarify that, and that would speak of your thoughts, your words, your deeds create your reality. You can see here the young and the women adorning this queen, this goddess, and she is gracefully accepting it because she knows through her thoughts, her words, and her deeds, she creates her reality that she is living in. And this is where, again, we go back to where are we spending our emotions? What labels are we putting on those emotions? What barriers are we giving ourselves to our greatest experience here? Where are we no longer seeing ourselves worthy of emotional feedback that resonates highly with us? Where are we not applying that wisdom of the Empress to really recognize who we are, to recognize what we require, to recognize what we give, and to recognize what we gain back? And creating a flow that is not of death, but of exchange. And so it may feel like you're walking away from those 8 cups that are emotionally full, but what are they emotionally full with? What is what is the charge of those emotions? Where are things being thrown back at you? Where are you staying in a space where things can be thrown back at you that you've actually grown out of, that you've resonated out of, learned lessons from, and guided yourself away from, that you keep getting drawn back in? Are they cups that are really worthy of saying you're in wealth emotionally, or are they indeed tricks of the emotions where you feel emotionally tied to things that no longer do you any good? On the Tuesday, we see the Queen of Cups making an appearance energetically, and this is for a lot of the women out there in the physical form, but also for a lot of the men out there in the let's go with men first. So some of you will be in a space where you are recognizing the woman in your life, whether that be a loved one, a sister, or a mother, or a daughter, walking away from something emotionally, and it is for you to be there as a support, not as a facilitator, but as a support, a still and calm master, able to bring calmness to any storm while that detachment is taking place. This is great for you because it connects into your divine feminine, and it helps you control, channel your divine masculine, in that, especially those of you with daughters, for the kings out there, I wouldn't be taking action without wisdom, although it might feel great in some of the circumstances that some of you run into, to take that action, maybe with a said fist. It's not actually going to do the female in your life, the daughter, the loved one in your life, any favors. It is for you to sit on your throne and recognize the master that you are quite capable of throwing a fist in the right or wrong direction at the right or wrong time. Just right now, it would be the wrong time, and it would not be with wisdom. And I want you to think more of like the Soprano type movies, that it is actually the boss that speaks the least, and when he does speak, he gets listened to for this. It's actually the boss that will kiss you on the forehead, literally give you a kiss goodnight rather than a punch, and sit back and watch, allowing the energies to take place. Just being that still presence, that strength is super important for you on Tuesday. For the women, it is about being focused on your true emotions and really being able to be brave enough to swim in those emotions without being afraid of what you will find there, without being afraid of what you'll feel around your ankles, the seaweed that you would feel. As you make that detachment, the Tower card comes out in Major Arcana to clarify the Queen of Cups on Tuesday. Now, the Tower speaks of that doesn't serve, that you have filled up and cluttered up your emotions in this case, your intuition, your knowing, your nurture inside, the rooms of this tower that you've built, and maybe you have a lesson of letting go of emotional investments that have either been spent investments and it is what it is now and they're done, the work there is done on your part, or not being afraid to recognize where emotions could have been placed in a higher field, a better space for you and those involved, and all of the inner work and healing that is required that comes up with that kind of guidance. And this is where you have to be brave and allow the sea that sweeps up, the winds that sweeps up above this tower, to be able to cleanse it, not to take it fully away, but to leave the structure more pure and organically you, outside of the labels that you've attached to your emotions or that other people have attached to your emotions, and the expectations of those emotions and where you should put them to. Now, on the Wednesday, and this goes straight into the Tuesday, of course, it's a rolling week. And so on the Wednesday, we see this Odin, this Woden, this fire being, this divine masculine king of wands. And the way that they're sitting is that he's this guardian sitting behind the female figure. And so for the women that don't necessarily feel that you have that divine masculine father type figure, partner type figure, or friend figure in your life that is actually this type of protective energy, this they cover you and revere you. One, I want to tell the person that needs to resonate with this highly is that you have ancestors of men watching over you right now. Don't be surprised if that reflects in your physical realm this week too, in that somebody or something appears, that lets you know you have this divine masculine protective essence around you, watching over you. In the physical, there are a lot of you that maybe have underestimated a father type figure or a partner as you turn your back on certain emotions. And the stillness of this King of Wands, just letting the fire, flicker, letting it dance, but not using it as a blowtorch, brings a lot of peace. It brings a lot of balance into what could be a very deep dive, emotional, chaotic time. So we've got the Six of Chalices, Six of Cups to clarify this King of Wands. So you can see here in this deck, the potter has made these 6 pots, but one of them is of an ash-like colour. And for me, this would describe the divine feminine, in this case, the moon. That silvery moon, the divine feminine energy above us and within us. And it would speak to, at times, this male figure on the Wednesday of this King of Wands, being in dismay of, like, what do I do here? How do I act here? What is my role in this situation? The potter has taken his feet slightly off the wheel. He is not turning the wheel. There's a stillness here. If you look at his feet again, he's being still. He's not continuing with his feet going round and round and round. He's being still and having to be slightly uncomfortable in that stillness. Again, for those male figures on the Wednesday, a lot of ancestral messages trying to come through, mistakes that have already been made by you as well in previous lifetimes of being too reactive and not being able to stay still very easily. And forgetting there's a lot on this Wednesday for the divine masculine, where the Tuesday is very deep for the divine feminine. In perfect order, the divine masculine comes in thereafter on the Wednesday, and this would speak to the situation, the experience, or the energies that you have around you that are playing out, would speak to you. How do I want to say this? It would speak to you going to a very deep place of this contemplation that this old man is showing, this old sage, this potter, this maker, this creator, this very active being. His legs wouldn't have ever stopped making that wheel turn. His hands wouldn't have stopped molding, and the divine masculine, especially in this realm, in the space and time that we are in, has forgotten, and vice versa, the relationship, the real dance between divine masculine male and divine feminine female, woman, man and woman. And for a lot of people, a lot of men, there is a lot of misogyny that doesn't reflect on all. That's not what I'm saying. But like everybody that's here, one way or the other, is touched by organized religion, debt, poverty, illness. We're all touched by it because these systems are built to facilitate all of them and more. There is a lot of misogyny to be worked through, and this is a very deep place, because everything in this male and female dance from the Tuesday to the Wednesday is that a lot of you masters out there who have been touched by misogyny also, but are not created by it, are recognizing, are taking this very deep look into the spine, into the back of the divine feminine queen, with this Queen of Wands, King of Wands and Queen of Cups, and seeing the collapse of systems that have been built in a very patriotic way. Patriotic, not patriotic. What's the word? Come to me. gone. But male systems established very much to serve not every man, that's not what I'm saying, but the elite men that and the puppets thereof. There's this misogyny that is having to be considered, and in that misogyny, the best of men have been touched in a way to have certain views of the divine feminine form, certain expectations, certain restrictions about what a woman should and can be. And a lot of you masters out there are taking this deep dive very, very deeply on this Wednesday and recognizing that these systems must fall. And as they do, you will get in a glimmer, a reflection of the full kaleidoscope of the woman that has been restricted and brought to a still place for so long, and how that actually, that misogyny, that way of thinking has very much built these systems that must fall. And a lot of the masters out there are able to recognize the beauty in this. And there is a stillness in this with this Six of Cups, of this dismay feeling of this old man, in that certain guilt have to be felt emotionally, and that is for you to do that inner work. Not that I'm saying you should feel that guilt, I'm saying the opposite. That you need to swim in those and be all right with self in those. Give yourself an inner standing and understanding and overstanding of the fact that these parasitic systems have entered into us. We have been born into them. We literally have to pierce through veil after veil after veil of them as we grow here. And so this isn't a shaming thing. This is for the masters to go deeply into that, to let go of the regret, let go of that guilt, let go of the ego that is tied up in these systems, this tower that is falling on the Tuesday, and really see how that, hold on, if we say we're fighting these systems so much, and these systems very much want to absolutely, and for millennia been trying to usurp the feminine, the female, the divine feminine, the womanly form, then it must be that we have to truly see. We have to truly be able to see and feel the atrocities that we have allowed towards our women, towards our daughters. And so this is actually very deep with this Eight of Cups on the Monday, the Empress card coming through to clarify, the Queen of Cups with the Tower, and then the King of Wands with the Six of Cups. That's getting us up to Wednesday. This is a real deep dive dance of the divine feminine. And for those that can use these energies in this way, this is so powerful. For you want to have the opposite sex be reflected and resonate in at the same frequency or similar frequencies, compatible frequencies to you. If you are wanting to go on a completely different path with someone else, but on the greater scale, it is really about that this is where the real fight has always been, in reconnecting once again the male and the female, entering into a dance that is not aggressive, that is not compulsive, that is not lustful, but is of reverence, it's of gratitude, it's of wanting to explore the other, this yin-yang wheel turning. And it's only when we can do these deep dives and let go of those attachments to ego that we have that keep facilitating these systems, that is when the wheel can really start turning again. This is why the man's feet are still, and is having to be considerate to what the implications have been and where the participations have been in this lifetime and in others, and not casting judgment as we've been indoctrinated to know it upon life, but gaining inner standing of it, not being afraid of it. We see that on the wider stage where they're desperately trying to trigger certain sectors of the population into wanting to not let go of history. Like these certain triggers you can see, like they're as clear as MK Ultra ever is, of these groups of people being triggered into either defacing a statue or wanting to remove it. And they've been triggered by the very thing that they say they're fighting, and they aid it by doing that because they show them this show of fear of the truth of the atrocities that have occurred, of the truth of the wonders that have occurred. So this is where we have to not be afraid of these deep dives, and we don't come to them in judgment. We don't come to them with a sense of superiority or supremacy. Quite the opposite. We come to these positions with these energies in the right way, with a submission, with a consideration, with a just being present in it, as unpleasant and as pleasant as they may feel, even simultaneously. But it is about getting to that release point after that kind of inner work. And it is with this release point that on the Thursday we see the Knight of Swords. We see it racing through here. Swords or words. Words are the words that we speak, the words that we think, the thoughts that we have, the intellect, the wisdom. But this is messages. This is the Knight of Swords, and messages are coming through thick and fast. Now, where we've seen this beautiful dance occurring for many people, especially the people I vibe with, of this divine feminine and divine masculine reintroduction. On the wider stage, we see huge sectors of beings here being absolutely viciously back and forth, back and forth, back and forth with these messages, with these arguments, with these cursive words, with these swords, these spells, and they're going straight back to the King of Swords. And this comes to, with the clarification of the Knight of Swords, we have the King of Swords. Now you can see this king is the strategist, he's a strategist, he's looking and creating a story, a storyboard, a plan. He is calm, he's grounded, he is full of wisdom, he knows exactly how to use his words, which is why his sword is placed down on the red pillow in front of him. It's not being waved like the Knight of Swords. And there's a place and time for every kind of sword, every kind of word, but this Knight of Swords is being met with wisdom by this King of Swords, with a stillness, with an absorption of what is being said, but not accepting it as his own. He is staying in his own space, in his own auric field. There's a boundary put up with this King of Swords. On the opposite side of this, these people that are being triggered into this back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, they are spiraling down into a consciousness that is a place that is reflecting back on them badly. And so we see that this King of Swords in certain spheres of this realm right now on the Thursday would be that it speaks of the playing right into this strategic throne. They're playing right into the game, they're playing right into the ploy. And that is a lot to do with the movement type energies around this realm right now, in that they've been infiltrated. They were infiltrated with planning from the start. And so you see it, and it's almost like a dystopian nightmare to see it and witness it, of just how successful they've been at creating these bubbles, these arguments of these back and forth, daggers, swords going everywhere, putting out those spells of the degenerate, of the wounded, of the not so nice energies, very stuck in echo chambers with swords flying everywhere. Nobody wants to be in one of those. But it also speaks to, on Thursday, some kind of announcement politically. It speaks to, let's see. So on Thursday, it speaks to some kind of message coming forward, a political message. This could be in a lot of places all at once, because I'm telling you now, they are playing a script, and usually they'll leave some spaces in between the scripts, but right now things are happening simultaneously a lot more than they usually do, to try and not raise suspicion. So what else do we need to say about Thursday? What else do we need to say about Thursday? Eight of Swords. Ouch. So we've got the Eight of Cups above that. Now we've got the Eight of Swords on the Thursday. Nine of Swords on the bottom of that deck. So of course, this isn't so nice. So to clarify this Knight of Swords with this King of Swords, we see the Eight of Swords and the Nine of Swords come out to clarify it further. This would speak to then this political message, putting a lot of people into a very deep slumber of feeling like they are imprisoned in their own thoughts via fear. Now, do not be mistaken for one person to be shouting sheeple from that end and another person to be shouting conspiracy theorists from that end, because that is exactly the type of message I was giving just earlier, of these echo chambers feeling so superior to one another, but actually vibrating in the same frequency with the same energy, both as fast asleep in fear than the other. We see that on the movement side, we've got so many people who were there, ready, paid, and some just along for the ride with their ego, to when people were energetically ready to finally turn away from mainstream media, they are met with speakers on the other side that bring them that mainstream media in the movement every day. Fear, 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 fear. The illusion of a solution, the compact of donation, 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 and nothing much being progressed, nothing much being done. It is all a illusion. And then on the other side, we see that they are being promoted with fear, fear, fear. And so that the same things, the same mainstream media scripts are being reflected simultaneously on both sides of the aisle. And so for those in the middle, it's difficult to witness because you feel like you want to shake people. And it sort of happened that way with me, and that they were happy to be shaken until all of a sudden the fear got too much and I was getting in the way. You want to do that so badly, and there is a time and a place sometimes for it. Sometimes you just hit that sweet spot, and that's when you've got bonds with people who have really used their energies for the greatness rather than the demise. But for the most part, this is about you can't shake them. The more that you shake them, the more you enter into the video I've just done previously, into a space where you're going to get spiritually and physically dirty feet, because these people are in a comfortable place with themselves of dropping into this lower vibration of fear, an imprisoned thought pattern that literally keeps them moving in, remember the COVID bubbles, in bubbles, not being able to hear people from the outside and not being able to get their message out from their bubbles to the outside of that bubble either. And so we see that there's a lot of bubbles banging up to a lot of us that are trying to walk the middle path. It's difficult. So that's Thursday. Wow. So it means that this announcement is going to put the fear of the gods, probably the monetary gods, into people, the lack gods, the guilt and fear gods, the people that we allow to put out, the sages that we allow to put out this type of spell work. So we have the next card on the Friday. So we've got the Friday here, and this is another major arcana, and it is the Hangman. And you can see here it's hanging upside down, very similar to the World card in the body position, but it is upside down. And this is speaking about stillness, finding enlightenment in the stillness. In fact, it being very upside down in that there is so much arms trying to reach out into this middle path to desperately try and drag those that are walking it into a space of conflict, into a space of wasting words, into a space of casting spells that actually just create stronger bubbles but do not actually fight the systems that we see on Tuesday, those towers coming down. It is very important, both men and women. However you present yourself, however you feel, to not walk into those cubes, those bubbles of spaces that reflect misogyny, of spaces that reflect superiority, to be preferably still and happy in your own place before doing that. 12. Somebody, it's 12 o'clock that you need to be really watchful and go into that stillness and into that space of oneness within yourself, rather than looking outside to solve something or heal from something or enter into something. This is about not signing contracts, compacts, energetically or physically or spiritually or emotionally, keeping your hands behind your back, quite literally, and just hanging there for today. No contracts, no compacts. Even if you are able to do a vow of silence today. We have the Three of Pentacles, which is the physical. Is the first Pentacles? Yes, it is. Well, so we have the Three of Pentacles, which is the physical, and it came out on its side. This speaks to teamwork. This speaks to working together to create a wealth. Now, so you see here that they're working together, they're building, they're collecting the coins, the grain. But there is a master there on this card. There's a master there taking the tally of how hard are you working? You know, are you pushing yourself enough? And that was on its side. That would speak to rebalancing and reflecting on are you willing to be a slave to another master? And this goes very deep spiritually. It goes very deep, correlating with the Tuesday and the Wednesday in particular, with that divine feminine and divine masculine. But what depths are you willing to enter into? And how does that reflect on how you see yourself? This speaks to rearranging working conditions and rearranging a mindset in order to be able to do that to your greatness, to be able to create greatness, to be able to create wealth for yourself rather than for another. This very deeply speaks to a mass movement of people going to smaller brands, which would be great for me if people want to visit DiviniteaStore on Etsy or check out my Facebook page for readings and whatnot, energy work, that kind of thing. Yeah, go into the locals where you can go to them. I would love to see a mass decision on nobody buying eggs unless they go to the farmers, you know, because they're trying to create this egg shortage. There is no egg shortage. They just will not take them from the farmers in the amounts that they usually do. It's exactly the same script with the toilet rolls, if you remember that. It speaks of people being considerate into not fighting in the way that we have been. It's not about shouting. It's not about marching. This is about strategy and a mass movement to maybe not buy a turkey because they're trying to double, triple the price of turkey just because of a season it's close to our hearts because they got us where the children were with this one. But it is a season, it is a time, it's a way of being connected to that changing over, that coldness, that slowing down. So making mass movements like this would be very powerful, and also on the individual basis of being very cognizant of what compacts you are entering into and where you are making your still protest to turn the relationship of slave and slave owner, wherever that may be in your life today on the Friday, into a different setup. You know, changing it up quite a bit. On the Saturday, because of that decision, because of those of you that are going to take that decision to retreat and burn certain compacts and just be still in that and really dig deep into where these compacts are, remembering the Eight of Cups on the Monday, that requirement to leave something behind emotionally, to walk away in a different direction. We have the Ten of Pentacles. Ta-da! In the deep, dark depths of despair and tough times, there are, with different mindsets, with that Hangman, there is the Ten of Pentacles is alignment with wealth in your life, with the land that you can use, with the livestock that you can use, with and be in relationship with the woods, it's an abundance and it's an alignment of wealth, and it's a freedom to have all that is needed to be able to experience this realm fully, in that your choices can be made through this right now. It also speaks of, because you are able to really start severing those compacts, not just shouting about it, but you're being able to be still about it, because everything that is being shouted about right now goes very deep, generationally goes very deep into our inner wounds and where those inner chains are that lock us up into these compacts, mostly emotionally and consciously. So it's about being able to retreat from them, burn them, and sever them. And so that's why there's a lot of this shouting going on the Thursday with the Knight of Swords, because people are terrified of the real implications of the inner work, of the generational decisions that have been made, of not doing that inner work, to naively, mostly, enter into these compacts that create debt, that create slave relationships. And so this is where the Ten of Pentacles comes in, for those of you that are able to ride these waves and these energies this week. And however that shows up for you, you will feel it. You will feel this generational wealth. On this card, we have the older generation with the young couple looking at what is being built, with a tower-like thing, and under a bridge there has been bridges made generationally that have changed the outcome, wealth-wise, abundance-wise, for those that are living this energy now, but most of all for those that come thereafter. And this is where we truly break that cycle. It is always about within before we act on the without. So we've got the Seven of Pentacles again to clarify the Ten of Pentacles, and this speaks of this abundance energy is not about this lady here who has got a lot of bread. She's balancing a lot. Again, this red coming through, this knowing, this connection to soul energy coming through, this passion. She's got a baby on her back. She's got the dog with her, but she's balancing these breads, these loaves in a basket on her head, but with the one free hand, and she's standing on one foot. She is giving to a man that is looking ragged, an old man that is sitting looking very skinny, very hungry, and she is giving freely a bun to him, a loaf to him to help sustain him. And this is about that divine feminine flow energy, that constantly moving energy, that stream of not trying to be in a space of greed, not trying to be in a space of possession, but really truly feeling that wealth frequency and being able to give away freely, allowing the stream to literally run through her light, her five gods, a pentagram, to not try and grab at what is coming her way, but let it flow by her rather than and through her rather than trying to hoard wealth. She wants to pass it on in knowing with her wisdom that that will then teach the child that she has on her back generational wealth, and how it always comes with flow. Anything that becomes fixed, that becomes solid, will die. It will rot when there's no air through it, when there's no movement through it anymore. Eventually it will die and rot, which is why they keep changing up these monetary systems cyclically anyway, because too many people get savvy to the truth of the system that we've been in for a long time, but in the grand scheme not that long, and they think, we better change it to something that people aren't quite knowledgeable of yet. And this is where we see these ether coins that aren't even, we can't even be studying the symbols as much on them because they're invisible, they're the intangible. And so we need to get good at that quick rather than being frightened of it. We actually need to get good at it quick. Anybody that wants to teach me some things, let me know. I'm open to that for sure, because we fight things so much sometimes when we don't realize it's already been prepared. The monetary systems that we see coming in now, the greed that we see being touted on the wider stage now, is of plans in action that many people, like myself, have been speaking about for the lifetime here, or for however long here. And still, there's still this apathy that we have of not catching up and trying to fight it so much that they are implementing the next system, which there's less knowledge on already while we are fighting. So it really is about our flow when we're talking about, and that divine feminine energy, that light, that fire energy, those five gods there, and feeling the flow rather than the greed that has helped build the systems that are up right now. So she gives away this bread loaf, and it speaks to some of you also on this day, on the Saturday, will run into somebody that you give something to, and immediately you will feel the energetic feedback coming to you, but that will come to you in an abundance also that is tangible, that is physical, because you don't recognize where angels are sometimes. You don't recognize where certain ancestors that have reached certain stages of knowledge aren't reflecting into an old man sitting on the street, starving. And they want to feel that connection to you. And when you do something that makes them feel so proud, and you don't even want to hold on to that feeling of pride, you just give the loaf and pass on by. This lady isn't stopping. She's on 1 foot mid-walk with a baby on her back and a basket on her head and a dog walking by. She's just giving it freely. And she's giving it with wisdom, teaching the next generation there under her. So there is immense pride in this. I can feel it already now. But the fact that there's not even that coveting of that moment of that pride in this divine feminine energy, she just continues to walk. It just is what it is. But the man's hungry, she has something to give, she gives it. Boom, that person is going to feel that energetic feedback starting to manifest into the physical. You'll feel it as real as it walking alongside you and taking the basket from you to hold it for you. You will feel that support. So that's beautiful. We've got on the bottom of the deck the Judgment card. This is speaking to this energy. You know, over the last 2, maybe 3 years, this Judgment card has made so many more appearances than usual. where you've been drawn to, that frequency that you're being pulled by, your soul's path. The clarifying deck would be the Five of Swords on the bottom. Do not be pulled this week into toxic spaces, thinking you can break through, thinking that with the right word, with the right arrow, with the right sword, you'll be able to cut through. Truth seeds have been dropped where truth seeds need to be dropped. Let them grow. Let them gain roots. Don't keep severing them with your own sword, going back and forth, back and forth. Don't enter into those spaces. Keep your feet clean. Enable yourself to be able to enter into halls of frequencies that require spiritually clean feet. Allow these echo chambers to shrink rather than expand. Don't give yourself to a contract and enter into a contract by exchanging words with people that reflect this energy. It is dead energy, dead money, it is debt. And not only that, it is the deepest karmic debt. It is entering into generational debt. And we must start walking away from that. Much love, much balance, and much wholeness. Let me know how you get on. Please share this. It's difficult coming back. It's difficult, regaining routine to be back. So I really do appreciate the help. If you share it, go and visit the Etsy store. Visit me on Facebook and you'll find Divinity on there. You'll find the spiritual page, True Divine 44, and you find me. So much love, balance, and wholeness. Mwah.